Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Your video is about to start on all things Social Security. Just a quick reminder, we are here every day, 9 a.m. with some sort of tip or tidbit for you. And we are here generally on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for live stream, live Q&As on everything Social Security. So feel free to pop in a timely fashion, and I will answer your questions there too. Have a great one. Bye-bye. Good morning. Happy Sunday, guys. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you had a great last week. This is the Social Security weekly roundup, and we are for the week of Monday the 26th to Saturday the 31st. Forgive the half of my face. It's apparently the after effects of that little procedure I had last Wednesday. 3 days later, everything goes crazy. It was like looks like I don't know how many stitches. I don't know if you could see that. Basically, it was this little teeny, teeny, tiny speck of what turned out to be basal cell carcinoma, probably thanks to my teenage and young 20s of frying myself on the beach with my Jersey friends back in the day, something I haven't done in decades. Obviously, my skin is not conducive to that. But anyway, they did say that after they do what they do, and it's called a Mohs surgery, MOHS. Obviously, it's just a little short outpatient procedure, and you don't really notice anything initially, and then then you start getting, some people turn black and blue. I was looking at one lady's face, so if it happened over here, it was this eye that was like really, really bad. So however, everything, I think they say it's the way the anesthesia that they've injected you with, so you don't feel it when they're doing it, how it drains and everything, and it settles in our eye. So it should be good in a few days. Hopefully next Sunday you won't be seeing this. But I did look for an eye patch because my husband caught the Bell's palsy back in October and had to have an eye patch, particularly when he was walking like from his car to work in Harrisburg. If any kind of breeze came, he couldn't close his eye, so you had to cover, or else you're gonna damage your eye with dryness. So, but we couldn't find it. He goes, "Oh, I think it's at the little house up by Harrisburg." So I could either go to CVS or something today, but I think this should go away soon, so I don't think I should have to worry about it too much. But I did want to get this out because I'm trying to always be reliable, right? All right, so the 26th. This one was about, let's see, the role your treating doctor plays in your SSD case, if any. You might be surprised at what the doctor is and is not obligated to do. And as many of you know, I have videos on why I don't think it's a good idea as a general rule to share your legal filings and legal business with your doctor. Unless and until that doctor has already said to you, you are in really bad shape. I think you need to stay off work and maybe file for disability. Bada bing, then you got an ally. And there are reasons for that. So you'd have to go look at those videos to find out more about that. The next day, which was May 27th, this was about claimants with allegations of pain, which I'd say is the majority. Some are treated with opioid medication. This one, well, opioid medication, and when there's side effects, and then some people are under the impression that, well, if I'm on opioid medication, I cannot drive, it would be illegal, and therefore I cannot work. Not entirely true. So take a look, see on that, if that's an issue for you, and the ways you can best use any facts or side effects from your opioid medications. It applies to other medications too, but that just happened to be the one of the day. On the 28th, this was Christmas in May for me. You guys know I was very, very excited that the SSA is apparently on June 7th going to be opening up access to attorneys' representatives for their clients in the electronic records express that we all love. The additional two sections, A and B, which would include, first and foremost, your disability determination explanation, which is something people are always asking about. When you get your denial letter, it's pretty much a canned, kind of meaningless document. It just tells you that you're disabled, but the real reasons aren't clear. So aside from the fact that they found you medically not disabled, to the threshold that you needed to meet in order to prevail. And that was never made available. We could not get that until we were heading towards a hearing. So that would be two appeals in, and it was inappropriate. And now I'm glad to see that some action is being taken. It couldn't have come sooner. That's going to be huge to me because I'm in that file with my clients on initial, on recon. We're just always in there working things up, presenting things we think are relevant, just to make sure that the adjudicator has them in front of his or her face and our position on it. The 29th, this was about, it was the replay of the Wednesday live Q&A, where y'all can come at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and ask your questions by posting them in the chat, and I will answer them or otherwise respond to them live. That was, so on Thursday, we put the replay up. So it was it's like a live stream, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. And what I'm trying to do is get the whole replay out. Thursday, it can be a little tight because it takes a while it's a very long video. So it takes a bit for it to get processed. And I also try to run this software thing that it takes out a lot of it could be a long pause where I'm reading to try to find the next question. You don't need to, any kind of replay. Nobody needs to sit through that. It's a little less onerous when you're sitting there live and we're just all kibitzing, but certainly not on a replay when it's not live. So we try to get those out of there before I then post it. I thought of having it posted by Saturday, but I thought, can I just get it out the next day? Can I just make it a thing to do? And then, of course, Friday, we had Friday Fraud Law Review. This was a Michigan man who was in cahoots with Nigerian fraudsters. You hear a lot about the Nigerian cons. He got 5 years in the federal penitentiary due to the SSA and tax fraud he engaged in with them. Ironically, they're probably sitting comfortably over in Nigeria while our Michigan man is paying the price in full. Granted, he deserves it, but nonetheless. And then the 31st, Saturday, this was a share discussing, I guess there's some confusion among some, terminal illness versus a compassionate listing versus when would you get expedited priority. So we go through that a little bit because they are all different concepts and not the same. And that's it, guys. That was the week. I hope you had a good one. I hope you have a better one coming up. And hopefully next time I see you, well, certainly by next Sunday, I should have my eye back again. All right. Have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. It's still Sunday. Did you miss last week's Social Security Roundup? Not this week that you just heard, but the one prior to that, and want to catch up? I'm attaching it now. Have a great day. Bye. Hey guys, happy Sunday Social Security Roundup for the week of, where are we at? All right, so we last did this on Sunday the 18th. So this goes from Monday, May 19th to Saturday, May 24th, yesterday. Okay, so on Monday, we had a discussion about what happens when the SSA staff denies you your right to terminate your appointed representation. It's not terribly unusual for someone to want to just not find that the relationship is working out right, whether they're not feeling communicated with or they don't think the representative is doing sufficient work, which may or may not be right, but nonetheless, each side has a right to terminate. Nobody's forced to be in the relationship, with the exception of after a hearing has been scheduled. I generally understand now that a representative cannot terminate the client once the hearing has been scheduled. That doesn't mean, though, that the client can't terminate the representative. Okay, so that whole video was about if a staffer says you can't do it and only the lawyer or the representative can do it. False. So we'll give you a little bit on that. The next day was, sorry, I have a cold, May 20th, Tuesday. We went over the evidence to support work disruptions that could happen from your symptoms. And the two that I don't know if we talked about more about this. I don't recall, but I know we discussed a little bit about IBS and bladder impairments that can generally cause not only just pain, but excessive time in the bathroom, and how you might be able to get evidence to support that fact. Because as you may know, being off task from work, if you can prove it, can itself be disabling from being able to do all jobs. So it can be very important. It is a very tricky thing to try to prove, but we try to do it quite often because it happens to exist in a lot of impairments. Okay, so that was Tuesday. Wednesday, May 21st. What did we do in the Social Security world? Yes, we talked about the immense power, your small impairments that you might not be thinking about a lot, but how they can go towards helping your mental health claim. That has part to do with the extremely stringent amount of proof and limitation necessary to prove all jobs are outside of your purview when it comes to mental claims, and how the physical things may be necessary. This would be particularly important, guys, for those over 50. So we go into that a little bit. Never forget your small physical. Okay, the next day must have been, is that Thursday? 22nd? Yeah. What is your doctor's role and intent in your Social Security disability claim? Some people think it's more than it is. Some people think it's less than it is. So we get into that a little bit. Friday was fraud law review, and this concerned a New Jersey man, my old state of New Jersey, who got 16 years sentence for Social Security number fraud and stealing, wow, almost 4 million in COVID funds by using the Social Security numbers falsely. I know there's always been so much scuttlebutt of late about lack of protection of Social Security numbers, lack of proper categorization of active or inactive Social Security numbers. And some people say, well, they're not taking Social Security, who cares? And we keep drilling home with these fraud law reviews that the fraud that can be done on the rest of the world when Social Security numbers are not properly maintained in the Social Security system can be really, really massive and costly to the American people. And that's just one example. But we've had so many others, and I think there's more coming up because they keep coming in. We don't obviously talk about them all, but okay. So then we had Saturday the 24th, guys, and this was about CDRs and the fact that there is a 60-day appeal limit when you get ceased on a CDR. You can appeal it, and you have the standard 60 days generally. However, there's a 10-day window that you don't want to forget about if you're going to need to continue those benefits pending that appeal, because the appeals can take years. So you'll either have no benefits coming in, or you can use this 10-day window, which is very small, to request that they continue. So you have to jump on it and be really diligent about it. We go into that a little bit. All right, that's it, guys. Happy Sunday. I hope you had a great week. I hope you have a greater week next week. And I hope your weekend's going good and you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to probably lay low today because I see my voice is going away. I'll talk to you later. Bye.